What is going on, guys? Thanks for checking out this video on my sports Gematria. In this video, I'm going to go over a boxing match for Saturday, October 29th, 2022. I'm going to show you highlights of each side, and it's going to be up to you to determine who you think will win based on the numbers. I encourage you to add additional information on top of this if needed for you to feel confident in your own pick. And I wish you guys the best of luck on all your picks. Or I said that wrong, but whatever. On your picks. Picks. Let's get into today's fight. We're going to be looking at Anderson Silva versus Jake Paul, Top Rank Boxing. Now, I haven't picked every single one of Jake Paul's fights. I missed the first two of his, but I've picked the last three. I've made videos on it as well. Two of those videos you can only find in my school, I think. Let's go to my school. Oh, this doesn't go to my... There we go. Scroll down, bonus. Jake Paul versus Tyrone Woodley. Jake Paul versus Tyrone Woodley, part 2. Okay, so I don't have the one that was before that with, I forget that other UFC fighter. Aiken or Akron or something like that. Yeah, so I have my pick preview videos for the Tyrone Woodley series. I have in my my online school. But this will be my fourth Jake Paul fight that I'm picking. And so the way I have it set up here, and I picked Jake Paul in every single one of those fights. So I'm 3-0 in Jake Paul fights. I really want Anderson Silva to beat him, but I don't know. But anyway, on this, we'll get to all that. And on this side of the screen is the daily numbers, date numerology, Gregorian Hebrew calendar. And then on this side of the screen is what I call my game numbers specific to the game. The way that I have it structured here is I have the location of the fight, the city, the state, the stadium. I have one fighter right here, Anderson Silva, his name, his birthday, to and from, his fight record, any type of winning or losing streak that he's on. In the middle is the last name head-to-head Gematria. And then at the bottom is Jake Paul, his name, birthday, to and from, his fight record, and any type of win or losing streak that he's on. Let's go ahead and get into it. Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva. This is the guy that the UFC owner, what's his name? Dana. Oh, he'll never call out Anderson Silva. He'll never call out a fighter like Anderson Silva. Was it all hype? Was it all hype for the money train? Well, Jake Paul, I already did his numbers for his last fight that got canceled. I wonder if we can... I mean, I could probably bring him up. Let me see here. We'll go boxing. When you're supposed to fight this guy, Rahman Jr. In this last fight, I was looking at New York City, summed to 60. Jake Paul potentially becoming 6-0. And I had some other numbers here that was favoring him to win this fight. And it's almost like the same thing as far as location-wise, because now we look at this fight, because that fight got canceled, and now we're looking at this fight, and this fight is taking place in Glendale, which sums to 60, and he could become 6-0. So the first fight before it got canceled was in New York City. New York City sums to 60. They had that 60 number for him to potentially become 6-0. And now the fight that's rescheduled, but this time against Anderson Silva, it's going to be in Glendale, which sums to 60. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And also the timing is kind of interesting for Jake Paul and Anderson Silva. Potentially Jake Paul can become 6-0, like 60 in Glendale, which sums to 60. And it will be in the same weekend that the World Series takes place, where the Houston Astros wear the number 60 on their jersey, and they're celebrating their 60th anniversary. And they could potentially pick up their 60th home win either on Friday and or Sunday, depending on how that series goes. I did a big preview on Game 1 to show how they can pick up their 60th win at home on Game 1, but they can pick it up at any time at home in the next two games, that number 60. And then we have this Jake Paul, coincidentally, could become 6-0 like 60 in Glendale. which sums to 60 during the same weekend that both events are taking place. If Anderson Silva loses, he would become 3-2 for a boxing record. 3-2 for a boxing record. I have it marked gray for some reason. I'm looking over here at the Gregorian calendar trying to figure out why I marked it gray. Let me type in 32. Maybe this will jog my memory. No. What is it? 32. Why would I mark 32 gray? I also marked 41 gray too. Oh, I know what it is. I'm not using the dirt. I got to change the day. Okay, here we go. The 29th. Here we go. So now it makes sense why I have both of these marked gray. So the day of this fight will have 61 date numerology on the Gregorian. If you write out the number 61, it sums to 131, the 32nd prime number. But it also sums to 41. So that's why I have 4-1 and 3-2 marked here gray for Anderson Silva. But if we're focusing on Jake Paul to win this fight to become 6-0 in Glendale, Arizona, which sums to 60, the same weekend that Houston Astros can pick up their 60th home win for this season as they wear their 60 patch on their jersey in the World Series. Anderson Silva would get that 3-2, 61, 30, 31, the 32nd prime. And that's kind of all I have really for Jake Paul to win is the 6-0 and the 60 and the 3-2 for Anderson Silva. I actually personally like Anderson Silva's numbers better, but I just do not trust them. I just don't trust them. Anyways, Anderson Silva, if you write out Anderson Silva, it sums to 198. It's 198 days since his 47th birthday. It's actually a total span of 199. If we look up 199, we find out that it's the 46th prime number. And if we also write out the number 41, we find out that it sums to 46. And if you actually write out the number 51 as well, if you go along with it, 51 sums to 46. Jake Paul could become 5-1 for a record with the loss, like 51 sums to 46. Anderson Silva would become 4-1 for a boxing record, like 41 sums to 46. It's the 198 or total span of 199 days since his last birthday. 199, the 46th prime number. His name, Anderson Silva, sums to 198. Glendale, Arizona, 144. He was born on 14/4. He can get his 4th win in a row as Jake Paul ends his 5-fight win streak, like 5-4, 4-5. It being a day with 45 date numerology on the Gregorian. Like I said, I like Anderson Silva's numbers better, but I don't trust them. I do not trust him. And his age, I don't trust either. I don't trust Anderson Silva at 47. I think Jake Paul at the age of 25, training the way he's training, if it's legit, definitely probably has more strength than Anderson Silva. I think Jake Paul, even though his boxing IQ is definitely not, or his fighting IQ in general is definitely not at the level of Anderson Silva, Jake Paul realistically all he needs is to catch him with one hit, and he'll probably knock him out, which is kind of a sad thing to say. Nobody wants to see Anderson Silva get knocked out by Jake Paul on pay-per-view. Nobody wants to see that, but it might actually happen, and it's kind of fucked up. Anderson Silva, and they're trying to hype it. They're trying to hype it, saying Anderson Silva coming out saying, "Oh, I don't need the money." This is something different. And then UFC, the owner, always saying in the past, "Oh, he'll never call out a fighter like Anderson Silva." I don't know. I think this is a setup for Anderson Silva. I think it's a setup. But that's what it is. Jake Paul, he's currently 25 years old. He was born in the year 97. We write out the number 60. 60 sums to 97 and 25. 97, the 25th prime number. He could become a perfect 6-0, like 60 in Glendale, 60. And that's what I have for right now. Hopefully this helps. Hopefully this gives you some insight to the fight. Get you started on a decode. Adds to a decode. I really wish you guys the best of luck on your pick for this fight. Hopefully you win all the money in the world. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you in the next video.